Do we really have to have this Jalen Hurts conversation again? Yeah, we do. Because now I'm starting to get annoyed and pissed off and not happy with the reasoning behind it and the constant having to defend him. I know some people are tired of defending him, just say they're not going to. I'm going to continue. Anyway, so we're going to talk Jalen Hurts again for the 100th time. It is what it is. MLB home run derby last night. I fell asleep. We're going to talk about it and why I fell asleep in the MLB home run derby last night. What can they do to fix it? Well, I got the answers. And breaking Sixers news last night. Paul George had surgery on his knee because he got hurt working out. It only could happen to Philly. Trending in the AM. We are live, taking your thoughts and opinions, all this and more. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome all to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live. You know the drill. YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are. Hit that like button and hit that share button. And, of course, please subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Would greatly appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. If you're watching on Twitter, you can comment there, but I would appreciate you heading over to the YouTube page and subscribing there as well because I got work to do. I got to catch up because I'm losing subscribers now. Anyway. Please do those things for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, every single morning here. And we've got lots to talk about. Well, we got three things to kick the agenda off today. All right. Number one, Jalen Hurts, again, with the disrespect. And you know what? I know some people are tired of having to defend Jalen Hurts and don't want to, but I am going to continue to defend Jalen Hurts at every aspect, every time, everything I have to do. I'm going to continue to defend the man till he gets the respect that he deserves. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the home run derby and how, I fell asleep in it. I fell asleep halfway through the first round of the home run derby. There's no reason, it's wrong. And that's what our poll question on YouTube of the day. Did you watch the home run derby last night? Your four choices are some of it till I passed out. That was my vote. None of it. All of it, it was awesome, and I watched Monday Night Raw instead. They're your options. So we're going to see how the poll goes today on that one. Should be some interesting answers and results on that. And, of course, the third topic of the day, Paul George breaking news last night during the home run derby. Had to have surgery last week or earlier this week. They didn't actually say. They just said recently because he hurt his knee working out to get prepared for the upcoming season. And they will reevaluate him right before training camp. So, all the people that said this year will be different for the Sixers. The more you think it changes, the more it stays the same. Guys, we got lots going on. Again, like, subscribe, share, vote on the poll. First two comments, well, the first comment of the day. Good morning, Adam. How are you? Sixers, NBA champs. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Somehow, I don't think that is what it is. But, yeah, something like that. Paul George gets injured and the sky is blue. If you said, and not you, Big Al, that this year was going to be different, I wish I kept receipts. I don't. But if you told me that this year was going to be different, and I told you no, it was not, and you laughed at me, told me I don't know ball, told me to stick to football because that's what I know. Well, here's my chance to call all you nitwits out because it ain't going to be any different for the Sixers and for Paul George. And Joel Embiid, it's going to be the same thing again. A lot of ramping up, a lot of we'll test it out in another week or give them 2 more weeks or this and that. The Sixers are a joke of an organization and a joke of a franchise. And I have two people that I just can't stand. Two groups of people. The Sixers organization, Daryl Morey, Elton Brand, Nick Nurse, Josh Harris, and the people that hate Jalen Hurts just because they are jealous. Outside of that, I love everybody. Hate's a terrible word. I hate the people that tell me the Sixers are a great organization. I hate the people that tell me that Jalen Hurts can't play football. I just can't. And I got a lot of hate building up on these two topics. Now on the topic of the MLB Home Run Derby last night, there is a big, big issue with the Home Run Derby. And I don't think ESPN or MLB realize what the problem is. Now, I scoured Twitter during those first four. I think I caught the first four batters, first five batters of the Home Run Derby before I called it a night of the first round. And I could not find one person on social media that was enjoying the ESPN coverage of the Home Run Derby. And there's two reasons why. Number one reason why I can't stand it, and most people can't stand it, is the split screen angle of the Home Run Derby. Makes it impossible to track home runs. And because it's rapid fire time, 3 minutes or whatever it is, you don't actually get time to watch the ball go out of the park before the next pitch is thrown. That style, go back to the 10 outs, however long it takes, and go to a single screen. Now, somebody did tell me on Twitter to go to ESPN2. They had a different, like, StatCast kind of coverage, and it was a little bit better. They had the shot tracker, like in golf, tracking the baseball so you knew where it was going. But it was still damn confusing to watch. There's no way to be engaged and excited about the Home Run Derby. I mean, damn, they had a guy hit, the fifth or fourth longest home run derby history last night. 513-foot home run. But didn't even know where it went. Couldn't even tell how far of a home run it was. Why? Because I had 5 different announcers shouting and screaming, 2 different screens to watch. It was just hard. Disappointing. The coverage of it. The Home Run Derby could still be a fun event. And it might have been a fun event for the people in attendance. But let me tell you something. They dropped the ball on how to cover the Home Run Derby and how to make it something interesting. Good morning, Rick. How you doing? Rick watched the entire Derby with his son. It was awesome. I like the story of the dad pitching the rally. I do. And the brother was the catcher. I get that. Let me tell you something. It's near impossible to watch and get excited because of the format, first off. I hate the format. And secondly, ESPN's coverage. Now, ESPN is losing baseball. I think this is their last year. And I forget who picked up ESPN's coverage of baseball. Let me tell you something, Rick. You're the first person that I have seen that said that they enjoyed the coverage of the Derby last night and enjoyed watching it last night. Most people would say that the Derby could be fun again, even without the stars, if the format was presented differently, plain and simple. Good morning, Mitchie Poo. I'm sure you're here to ask me something about Paul George and another injury. I'm sure that's why you're here. Because, the more things change, the more things stay the same. So we're talking Home Run Derby. We're talking Paul George. And, of course, we're talking this new list from the NFL, according to coaches, executives, and scouts, ranking the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And Jalen Hurts ranks at a whopping number 9 with Jared Goff, Justin Herbert, Jaden Daniels, Matthew Stafford, all ahead of him. And no wonder if executives and scouts and coaches are the ones that voted on this list, okay? No wonder so many NFL franchises can't build a winning organization, can't find a franchise quarterback that actually matters. Because if you look at the rankings on this list, if you think Justin Herbert or Jared Goff are better than Jalen Hurts, you just proved why your team is constantly in turmoil, why your team constantly can't get over the hump. You want to say Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen is better than Jalen Hurts? I don't agree, but I understand why you say that. But there ain't nobody outside of Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, and Jackson that should ever be ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts ever. Now, me personally, I'm taking Jalen Hurts over all of them. Maybe call me a homer, whatever. But any time you put anyone other than those four ahead of him right now, you're just clicking. You're just looking for clicks, and you just don't know football. Maybe because I got to watch with my kids and seeing him so excited watching it made it that much better for me. Absolutely. That could be a part of it for sure, Rick. Rick, I don't hate the home run derby. I think the home run derby still has a place in sports. I do prefer the 10 outs because the 10 outs, you're not rushing in between pitches or in between swings to get as many swings as you can in. I don't like the timer thing, and I haven't since they switched to it. But also the coverage of it, because of the timer aspect of it, makes it very hard to watch. And the announce crew, on top of it, all shouting and screaming over each other, made it very difficult for me to be engaged in it. Baseball, probably the worst product on TV right now. Rather watch cricket. Well, have you ever watched cricket, Pump Man? I don't know a damn thing about it. It's confusing as all hell. Good morning, Bills Need Edge. How are you today? MLB is way better than watching the NBA. I mean, depends. I mean, Rick, we're in the minority in thinking that way for sure. Good morning, Joe. Some moonshots yesterday at the Derby, but I missed most of them because of the broadcast. Exactly, and that's the problem with the Derby. The broadcast and the way they make the broadcast. Hell, I was tuned out, Joe. I was already surfing my phone when Pat McAfee and whoever the other dude was introing the players. The intro was terrible. And it already tapped me out at that point. But I'm like, you know what? For content, I'll give it a shot. Now, again, like I said, someone said ESPN2 had a slightly better coverage. I switched over. It was a little bit better. Let me tell you something. It was bad. It was not good at all, the coverage. Lamar is overrated. Allen, too. Absolutely. But I get it why people like those guys. And they have had immense success over years. But again, you look at this latest NFL list, quarterback ranking list, and it's voted on by coaches, execs, I guess GMs, and scouts. You truly start to understand why so many teams can't win, can't find the right quarterback, because they're not evaluating what a quarterback is, what the characteristics of a quarterback should be, what you need to have in a quarterback to be a successful franchise. When Jalen Hurts is number 9 on your list, behind guys that cannot succeed regularly, cannot elevate their team, can't win in the playoffs, it's a joke. Cricket isn't even a sport. It's called a test. Yeah. Shocker that Paul George is hurt again. Overpaid bum. Dude, when I saw that news break, I didn't even get upset, Rick. I laughed. I legitly laughed when I saw the Paul George news. And I recorded a short little video laughing at it too. It's like, it's comical. It really, really is. And to think there are beat reporters, there are content creators, there are bloggers that tried to tell everybody this year's going to be different. And we're in July. It's July 15th. And it's already the same. I thought player-wise, except for Jazz, they produced. That was fun, electric. I mean, half of them hit balls over 500. Bring back. I don't need Chris Berman. Back. Gone. I don't. I wouldn't mind. But I don't need him, right? Okay? I just need it to be slowed down so we can enjoy it. So when a ball gets hit 515 yards or feet or whatever it is. Yards or feet, I don't even know. Feet. That we can actually see where the ball's going. But no, we're watching the next pitch get thrown. We're watching this. We're watching that. The camera angle stunk. Lamar Jackson is the Ricky Fowler of quarterbacks. Can never win a major. Yeah. Ricky Fowler's won some tournaments. He won the Rocket Mortgage a couple of years ago. I don't know if I would downgrade Ricky Fowler to Lamar Jackson's level. You cannot find Hurts' rank as long as he has Barkley or Hurts stats do not improve. See, and I know you're just trying to talk, but I hate this attitude that because Jalen Hurts has a great team, he doesn't get credit. So here's the thing with quarterback rankings. All right. Everyone wants to tell me wins are not a quarterback stat. They are a team stat, right? And that's why Jalen Hurts wins do not matter. And I call bullshit on that. Okay. Why? Because A, the quarterback touches the ball every single offensive snap. The only person to do that. Nobody touches the football more than the quarterback in the NFL. Okay? When a team loses, who gets all the blame? The quarterback, no matter what. Outside of Philadelphia, when the quarterback team wins, the quarterback gets all the praise. Who wins all the MVP awards? Quarterbacks, okay? But it doesn't count for Jalen Hurts. The next side of it, Joe Montana doesn't get blamed for having Jerry Rice on his team. Troy Aikman doesn't get blamed for Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. Terry Bradshaw's a Hall of Famer, won 4 or 5 Super Bowls. Doesn't get blamed for Lynn Swann and Franco Harris and probably arguably the greatest era defense ever. Nobody blames him for that. That didn't keep him out of the Hall of Fame. But Jalen Hurts has a great team. So, Jalen Hurts comes from an organization that knows how to build a winning team, knows how to find a franchised quarterback, then build around him so you actually win. It drives me freaking nuts, the excuses you hear why Jalen Hurts has nothing to do with the Eagles' success. Drives me nuts. The only reason Allen is MVP is that Bills would have 4 wins without him. Whether you win 4 games or 11 games and get knocked out in the first or second round of the playoffs, it don't matter. It's the same thing. It's an unsuccessful season. Paul George can start his podcast. Yeah, with all this injury rehab, I have plenty of time to record. Chris Berman is the GOAT, but yeah, he's a little old for me. I don't have to have him, but yeah. Speaking of yards, did I miss the notification for Favorite Heaven Tuesday? No, we're live tonight, 6 p.m. We're jam-packed tonight, breaking down the Open. 6 p.m. tonight. Jason, Steven, and I have our good boy, Detroit Drew, former podcaster, semi-retired podcaster, but great guy, knows his golf inside now. He'll be joining us. We'll have a little 4-man team tonight, breaking down the Open Championship from Royal Port Rush. Can't wait for the NBA to change the way the league is. A bunch of overpaid players that don't care about winning, don't care about the game. Got to reduce the salaries big time and promote winning. Yeah, salaries are never going to go down, though. That's the problem. You may not be thinking quarterback ranking like everyone else, who are top picks, 10 quarterbacks. Look, I absolutely am thinking a quarterback ranking is different than anybody else. I definitely put different things as criteria for winning quarterbacks or for ranking quarterbacks. But also on the flip side, if you really break down the numbers, yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't throw for 5,000 yards last year. Heck, he didn't throw for 3,000. But he had a 2,000-yard running back. Only the 8th time in the NFL history that there was a 2,000-yard running back. Get it neat for Jalen Hurts to throw the ball. And you know what Jalen Hurts did? He said, sure, let my boy eat. As long as we win, that's all that matters. 2022, he was number 3 in MVP voting. 2023, he was the favorite to win it before the collapse at the end of the season for 13 weeks. Jalen Hurts can throw. He's got one of the most accurate deep ball throwers. He doesn't turn the ball over outside of 1 year. The guy's a winner, and that's what matters. Put Hurts on another team, and how good is he? He's still the great. You know why? Because Jalen Hurts has the it factor. Jalen Hurts elevates people, puts the team first. What's Jalen Hurts doing right now? He's hanging out with Michael Jordan. Why? Well, he's part of the Jordan brand. If you look at all the people that were hanging out with the Jordan over the weekend, you know what Jalen Hurts had? He had a notepad in his hand so he could take notes as he's listening to Michael Jordan talk so that he could become the greatest. The Eagles are now what the Steelers were in the 70s. Absolutely. Did anybody in the 70s? I'm not old enough to be alive in the 70s. But Terry Bradshaw's in the Hall of Fame of the NFL. He didn't throw 5,000-yard seasons. You know what he did? He let his team win. He did what he had to do to lead. Quarterbacks are supposed to be leaders. Quarterbacks are supposed to lead the team to a title. Leadership can be found in many different ways and forms. I would much rather a leader lead my team than the guy that throws the prettiest back shoulder throw on the planet. Who gives a rat's? Nobody. Tom Brady probably had the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. Love him or hate him. Never the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Never in the top 5 paid quarterbacks in the NFL with New England because he cared about the team. Joe Montana, Troy Aikman. The list goes on and on. What's up, Stephen Fuentes? Home run derby was meh. I blame LeBron for ruining all-star games across sports. He never did the dunk contest, and other star athletes across sports saw that and stopped. Yeah, he never did. I can't believe we never got LeBron in a dunk contest. I can't believe it. Hurts on Bills are Ravens is a Sixers. No, that's a load of horse shit. Hurts is a legendary quarterback on a legendary team. Exactly. Well, let's hold that account. Let's already anoint Jaden Daniels the better quarterback because he had one season in the NFL. And that's not a knock on Jaden Daniels. I have him at 6 instead of 5 on my list. I wouldn't hold anything against him. But you never can rank a quarterback after 1 year as an all-time great or all-league great. I want winners. I want guys that are proven winners. I want guys that are going to do what it takes to win. Even if it means sacrificing your own statistics, your own numbers, which cost you money, big picture, theoretically, in contracts. And see, the thing is with this quarterback list that annoys me so much is that this quarterback list that we're breaking down is not some hot take Chris Simpleton or Dan Sillyman. This is NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. And what this list is these guys, the people that run teams, build teams in the NFL, telling me that they don't think Jalen Hurts is great. And you know what? It proves the point that these teams do not know how to build a team. The fact that Justin Herbert is number 7 on this list tells me why the NFL is so broken as a sport. It tells me why that teams are constantly losing, why teams constantly are drafting quarterbacks way earlier than they should, constantly giving Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson another shot when they're washed quarterbacks. Constantly why Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are falling short. Because they don't know you've got to build a team around your quarterback. You got to structure contracts so you can build a team around your quarterback. That's the kind of stuff that annoys me, that doesn't make sense. It's kind of comical at this point when you see these lists. And yes, some people are saying, I'm over it. I'm not defending Jalen Hurts anymore. Well, guess what? I am defending Jalen Hurts. Because as the graphic that headlines this show, just win. But according to NFL executives, aka GMs, scouts, and coaches, just winning is not good enough. Which is a joke. It's pathetic. It makes no sense to me. You know, it's funny. I posted a short little video yesterday afternoon, saying some of these same things. Posted it. Within 3 minutes, lost a subscriber on YouTube. Because people hate Jalen Hurts so much, they're willing to unsubscribe to a YouTube channel because the YouTube channel host supports Jalen Hurts. First, I don't know basketball. Now I obviously don't know football because I think Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. What does Jalen Hurts have to do to prove himself? What does Jalen Hurts have to do to show that he's the real deal? It's quite comical, honestly, at this point. You look at this list, you got Justin Herbert. I've been down the Justin Herbert track so many times. What about Jared Goff? I mean, hell, I would take Jared Goff over Justin Herbert at this point. I would take probably Baker Mayfield over Justin Herbert at this point. At least Jared Goff has been to Super Bowls before, won playoff games. Matthew Stafford is ranked over Justin Herbert on this list. He's the only old man on this list. He's taken multiple franchises to Super Bowls. Let me double down. If you don't get to the Super Bowl on the NFC side with that Eagles roster, you stink at quarterback. Again, what does the roster have to do with Jalen Hurts? Please answer this, okay? The roster has nothing to do with it. The roster is why they got to the Super Bowl. The roster is kudos to Howie Roseman, the best GM in football, for being able to build, to be able to find a franchise quarterback and still build a winning franchise. The Cincinnati Bengals, perfect example. The Cincinnati Bengals have a franchise quarterback. They can't build a winning roster. Why? Because their GM's a dope and doesn't know how to manage contracts. Waits too long to extend T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Now they got the Trey Hendrickson thing hanging over their head, where they're going to have to trade probably the best defensive edge in football because they can't financially keep him, and B, they don't know how to keep him. You're looking how Dallas is run. Dak's not a franchise quarterback, but he's a solid quarterback. But they do everything ass backwards there. So the roster is not an excuse to bash Jalen Hurts. Because, again, plenty of quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame had elite talent around them. Find me a team that has won a Super Bowl that didn't have an elite roster. There's no such thing as Super Bowl champions that don't have elite rosters. And more than one, there's never been a Super Bowl won by a team that had a great quarterback and a bunch of Joe Schmoes. A bunch of yous and me's. Hurts is going to take all this and turn it into motivation for the season. Instead of wondering what Hurts would do on another team, imagine if Hurts wasn't on the Eagles. Does Barkley have a record? Yeah. Saquon Barkley ain't running for 2,000 yards. I mean, he was on the Giants for how long? You got to have elite play. Saquon Barkley wasn't rushing for 2,000 yards with Daniel Jones as his quarterback. You've got to have a great roster to win. And that's what it is. Just win. That's all that matters. But yet, it's a problem. This is the last week with no Eagles football coverage. I know. I'm so hyped, Rick. Next week, camp opens. And every morning, we can break down whatever random news from training camp. We can overreact to who had a good practice and who didn't. I love it. I'm so hyped. What's Josh Allen doing with his offseason? What's Justin Herbert doing with his offseason? You know what Jalen Hurts is doing? He's learning from the GOAT. He's learning from the greatest. Which we got to talk about that for a second, too. He's spending time soaking up knowledge. And he's not just hanging out with Jordan, gambling, drinking, playing golf. He's sitting there with a notebook in his hand. So he can learn. So he can take notes from the greatest. The only team that can challenge the Eagles is the Chiefs, and their roster got much weaker. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're accurate on that. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I think the Chiefs will surprise some people. Good morning, Duck. How you doing this morning? We're talking home run derby. How terrible it is. Okay, the product, the show. And the format. We're talking Jalen Hurts being disrespected again. We're talking Paul George's injury. We're talking who knows what else will pop up today. Justin Herbert is at an ashram in Tibet. What? I don't even know what that is, K1. Guys, and make sure you voted on the poll. Did you watch the home run derby so far? 58% of the people have said some of it till I passed out. 17% said none of it. 17% all of it. It was awesome. And 8%, I'm guessing that was Mitchie Poo, the one vote. I watched Monday Night Raw instead. So make sure you like, you subscribe, you share, because I got to get back the subscriber I lost because I said Jalen Hurts is great. And you guys all got to stop bashing him. Not you guys, them. So Rodgers sublet his Ash. Okay. Is that where Aaron Rodgers went for his darkness retreat? Look, again, there's a problem in the NFL with bad quarterback play, bad quarterback development. All right. And when you see a list created by the scouts that draft these quarterbacks or evaluate these quarterbacks. When you see a list created by the GMs that draft who the scouts say, the coaches that are supposed to develop these quarterbacks but can't. And they're who's making a list. And Jalen Hurts is not in the top 5, top 3. It goes to show why, when you look around the NFL, and I'm going to look at this real quick. AFC East, there's one franchise quarterback in there, and Josh Allen. AFC North, you got Burrow and Jackson. The AFC South, you got CJ Stroud. West, you got Mahomes. Maybe Bo Nix. So in the AFC, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 teams that have a franchise quarterback. In the NFC, the Eagles have a franchise quarterback for sure. And that's it. Jalen Hurts is maybe the only franchise quarterback in the entire NFC right now. The amount of people, Sam Darnolds of the world, no, not to knock him, okay? The Sam Darnolds of the world, the Geno Smiths of the world, the Justin Fields of the world, whoever's playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, well, Aaron Rodgers of the world. Who's the Raiders quarterback? The Giants, the Vikings, the Pack. Jordan Love's not a proven commodity yet. The Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers, the Cardinals. I mean, no knock on Kyler Murray. But what has he ever done to develop? There's still people out there who take Kyler Murray over Jalen Hurts. And it's asinine. Hurts might be top 5. He is top 5. Now, I got him number 1. Call me a homer, that's fine. Let me tell you something. If you have Jalen Hurts anywhere outside your top 5, you just tell me you don't understand what the role of a quarterback is supposed to be. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. How about Acuna dropping out of the Derby right before in his hometown? Shows the All-Star festivities are washed. I didn't even know he was supposed to be in it. When I looked at who was participating, his name wasn't on it. So he'd already dropped out, I guess. The Derby was terrible. I cannot stand staring at a screen that's split like that with 3-4 announcers just shouting and screaming over each other. No star power. They all hit well. There were some dingers last night. But when you can't actually see where the ball lands, what's the point? The home run derby, unlike the dunk contest, the dunk contest needs to go away. The home run derby still has a place. There is still room for the home run derby. But you need to change the format and the presentation of it to the fans. The presentation of the derby is terrible, and you could put whoever you want in the derby. The derby will still be fun if they present it in a much better way, with a better format, or go back to the original format of the 10 outs. Not his hometown, but his team city. Yeah, exactly. I knew what you meant. Hurts has to be top 5. But yet, according to executives in the NFL, scouts in the NFL, coaches in the NFL, he barely made the top 10. And it proves why there's such bad quarterback play across the league. Because people don't understand. When you look at the draft, when you're evaluating quarterbacks, they evaluate the combine numbers, the private workouts with nobody pressuring you. If I was a scout, I'd be looking for leadership skills. I'd be looking for how you command a room, how you digest information, your desires to want to be better. Someone like Shedeur Sanders, who just wanted to be considered the greatest of all time the second he stepped foot in the NFL. Why did he fall to the 5th round? Partially talent, but partially because of his attitude. I'm looking for certain qualities in a quarterback. Because, again, the quarterback touches the ball on every offensive snap. Who else in football does that? Nobody. Well, the center, too, I guess. I guess the center does, too. But it's funny. It's not Jalen Hurts' fault. Or Jalen Hurts had no reason why they won, right? It was all because of the team. Jalen Hurts did nothing to get the Eagles that Super Bowl victory. But if the Eagles lost, it's 100% Jalen Hurts' fault, right? Even if he had a great team, it would be Jalen Hurts' fault why they lost. And that's the problem. The quarterback gets all the praise and blame, except in Jalen Hurts' situation. That's why wins are just a team stat now. We're changing what wins are to fit a narrative that Jalen Hurts isn't a good quarterback. That's annoying. To get to top 5 for me, Hurts will have to clean up his. What atrocious first halves are you talking about? Like, you have no idea what you're talking about there. Nothing. Jordan Love, I can't believe he's been in the league for 5 years, K1. That's kind of insane, honestly, now that you think about it, right? I mean, he did sit for a first couple of years. Is this going to be his 3rd year or 4th year as the start? He sat for 2 years, right, behind Aaron Rodgers? I want to say this is his 3rd year as the starter. I don't care about people's opinions on this stuff. Hurts winning, keeps winning, and that's all Jack. I don't care, but I do care. I don't care, but I'm still going to defend him. Because I think there's the narrative of why they don't like him is wrong. I think the reason they rank him so poorly regularly is wrong. Because they don't understand what a quarterback should be or what qualifies you to be a great quarterback. How you say he isn't a proven commodity, Jordan Love, proven he's mid. Okay, that's fine. Jordan Love is a mid quarterback. The problem is, in this NFL, because we have such bad quarterback play, because coaches, executives, scouts don't know what makes a good quarterback. They rush these kids. I always look to Zach Wilson. I knew right away when he got drafted, number 2 overall or 3 overall to the Jets. It's going to be terrible. Trey Lance, the same thing in that quarterback class. Those guys were 2nd, 3rd round talent quarterbacks, drafted in the top 5, forced to start immediately, forced to fail immediately. Because they saw the strong arm or whatever they saw. No. Again, poorly evaluating how to evaluate quarterbacks. Pitt wanted him, and we got him first. He was a deal in the 2nd round, and all of them knew it. Yeah, absolutely. I got you. New England and Dallas wanted Hurts in the 2nd round. Exactly, because somebody saw something. Somebody saw something in him. I mean, Howie Roseman saw something in him. He had just given Carson Wentz $160 million, which at the time was top end for a quarterback. And he still saw Jalen Hurts and be like, I got to have that guy. I got to have that guy's personality, that leadership. Would date back to his freshman year in Alabama. This guy's been nothing but a winner. And things haven't been easy for Jalen Hurts. He's had 19 different play callers in 4 years, dating back to his freshman year of college. No consistency with this guy. And he still finds a way to win. Why? Because he's got it up here. I always talk about the it factor. Elevating your team. That's what Jalen Hurts has. Hurts and Sirianni don't get the respect they deserve, but it's a good thing. I get that it's a good thing, and it fuels them. And it fuels my anger towards people, Rick. Because while they don't care about the respect, I do. I do get tired of having to defend him and make this argument. And every time we have to have this argument, somebody comes up with a new excuse. Why? He's not that good. Right now, this week, the excuse is wins are no longer a stat. They're a team stat. And that Jalen Hurts should not get credit. Just like Nick Sirianni is not getting credit for the wins. Now Jalen Hurts isn't getting credit for the wins. And it's a lazy narrative. Lazy excuse to fit your narrative. Come on, Eric, the gatekeeper in the house. Guys, now that Eric's here, now we all have to make sure we've hit that like button, that share button to one social media platform, subscribe, vote on the poll question about the home run derby. Guys, please, Eric's here, the gatekeeper. Yo, Eric, rally the troops. Get everybody on board, please. It's because there is so much talent around Hurts, he gets disrespected. But again, was Joe Montana disrespected like this? Was Troy Aikman disrespected like this? Was Terry Bradshaw disrespected like this? Tom Brady disrespected like this? Hell, Patrick Mahomes had a great wide receiver in Tyreek Hill, one of the greatest head coaches, all-time winning coaches of all time, and the greatest tight end of all time. Does he get disrespected for this? Patrick Mahomes is arguably one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He doesn't get disrespected for the talent. Terry Bradshaw's in the Hall of Fame, had arguably the greatest defensive error in the history of the NFL, the steel curtain there. And he got into the Hall of Fame with it. If you mention Jalen Hurts in the Hall of Fame right now, people would laugh at you, K1. This is the list that ranked Jaden Daniels number 5 overall. And look, I'm a Jaden Daniels fan. I think he's a great quarterback. I think him and Hurts are going to do battle for the next 5-10 years. I don't see a sophomore slump. But you can't rank somebody after 1 year in the NFL over Jalen Hurts, who's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. You just can't do it. Now, this year, how he performs this year, Daniels, might change that narrative. But right now, 1 year does not put you in the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. They don't like him because he's calm and doesn't do anything but win. They don't like him because he doesn't create drama. They don't like him because he's not out there giving them clips for their verbal clips for them to blow up. They've got to create something. They've got to create things. Because he doesn't give them anything. That's right. Exactly. Bring up the stats. I don't care about the stats. I know what his stats are. And the number one stat is he's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. One, been the Super Bowl MVP. 3rd in the MVP voting in 2022. I know the stats. I wish Embiid would use the disrespect this field to make his team great, but winning doesn't really matter too much in the NBA, just money. Rick. Spot on. Spot on. I wish Joel Embiid would have some kind of fuel to his fire. But nah. Joel Embiid's not built like that. I watched Poop Cruise on Netflix and thought of you. Were you in the industry? I was not. I left the industry in 2004, but that was probably one of the worst documentaries I've ever seen on Netflix. Netflix does great documentaries. That one was terrible. So poorly done. So much footage on that wasn't even real footage from that cruise. I know a cruise director guy from another company that his picture and a video that he had posted on social media was used in it. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. So it's kind of crazy. It was terrible. Yeah, he had Lynn Swann. Lynn Swann's a Hall of Famer. He had a great running back, a great offensive line, a legendary head coach. Terry Bradshaw never threw for 5,000 yards in a season. I mean, he did have Tyreek Hill for the first half of his career. Isn't Tyreek Hill one of the greatest wide receivers in football over the last 20 years? Absolutely. Also has the 4th winningest coach of all time. The head coach with the most playoff wins of all time. Patrick Mahomes is playing. And I'm not trying to disrespect Patrick Mahomes at all here. But every great team, or every team that's won a lot of Super Bowls, or won a Super Bowl, had a great team. Find me a team that won the Super Bowl with a great quarterback and a bunch of crappy players around him. Find me a sports team, period, in any of the major sports that had one great player and a bunch of crap. The best I could think of off the top of my head is the Sixers. They didn't win a championship. They lost in the championship to the Lakers in 2001. They had Allen Iverson and a bunch of scrubs. Not a knock on Eric Snow or Aaron McKay or Theo Ratliff. It's just the truth. You can't win a championship sports unless you have a great team. But a great team is holding Jalen Hurts back from the respect. The quarterback list are Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, always. And Franco Harris was a great running back too. Mahomes and had Tyreek Hill and had Travis Kelce. You know, I mean, let's not knock that. Josh Allen had great stats, except the most important stat: Super Bowl wins, playoff wins. And here's another problem with the NFL. You want to say Josh Allen's better than Jalen Hurts? I don't agree, but I understand. But this goes to the fact that the people that are voting Jalen Hurts down on this list are the same people that don't know how to put a winning team around Josh Allen. If Josh Allen went out and won a Super Bowl with the Eagles roster, the conversation wouldn't be that Josh Allen had a great team. The conversation would be that Josh Allen finally got over the hump and won the big game to validate his great career. The NFL, the media, the league, people, they needed to find somebody to hate. They chose Jalen Hurts. And they keep changing the narrative on why they hate Jalen Hurts. Hurts numbers aren't that far away from Jackson, Allen. Absolutely not. Except for one stat that's completely different than them, Duck. Wins and losses and playoff wins. All right? Does anyone hold Brady's season with Randy Moss again? What, he throw for 50 touchdowns that year? No. They don't hold that against him. Not at all. Hurts makes everybody around him better. That's a true sign of greatness. Absolutely. Elevating your team is what matters. Tom Brady rosters were usually mid. The greatest coach of all time, arguably. I hate him, but he is. All right? And yes, they also had a great, phenomenal defense on all those teams. Yes, he did not have a great wide receiver outside of the Randy Moss era. That's fine. He did have great tight ends in Gronkowski and the other guy. Okay? But they had a great, if anything, Tom Brady was a system quarterback, right? In that situation. How many great wide receivers did Brady have? I can name one. Yeah, absolutely. Had 2 great tight ends, had a great defense, and the greatest coach. I was such an Eric Snow fan. So was I. Until I saw him fall asleep broadcasting a Sixers game, I was a huge Eric Snow fan. Eagles became the 9th team in NFL history to win back-to-back Super Bowls this season. Oh, become. Sorry, I thought you said became. I was like, what? Sure. And if you doubt that Jalen Hurts is capable of doing that, then you're lost. Well, let me ask you this, Phil. Should Tanner McKee be top 5? He had similar stats to Hurts in the Super Bowl. What? 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 What stats did he have? Also, other than Mahomes, is the only top 5 quarterback with a Super Bowl ring on his finger. Yeah. How many quarterbacks in the NFL right now that are active have even played, not one, played in multiple Super Bowls? Mahomes, Hurts, Matthew Stafford. That's about it. Wasn't Deion Branch the MVP of one of the Super Bowl wins? Pretty sure Brady was throwing to him. Yeah, he was an MVP of a Super Bowl. Yeah. Brady also had a decent O-line during his whole career. Exactly. They kept him upright, kept him protected. Again, the offensive line of the Eagles held accountable, holds Jalen Hurts accountable. It's just nonsense. It really, truly is nonsense. And it's frustrating nonsense. It really, truly is. It does frustrate me that I've got to constantly come out here and defend the guy. Because what are we doing? Not us, but them. We're saying what's important for a quarterback. Elevating the team. Put individual numbers aside for the betterment of the team. Putting championships above all else. In Tampa, he did it. Mike Evans. Arguably, Mike Evans, in my opinion, is the most underrated wide receiver in football the last 20 years. And everybody talks about Justin Herbert has no weapons. Justin Herbert's had Keenan Allen for how many years? Now he's not there anymore. Everyone loves Keenan Allen. But while Keenan Allen was with Justin Herbert had no talent around him. Justin Herbert had Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen and couldn't win jack shit with those two guys. What's Justin Herbert's playoff record? 0-2. That first playoff loss. What was he up 30-3 at halftime and couldn't hold that lead? Some of that's on the defense, sure. But all you had to do was score one more touchdown in the second half, and you couldn't. You got shut out in the second half of that game. I don't even want to make this about Justin Herbert. I don't. But I've said my piece on Justin Herbert, on how overrated Justin Herbert is. And then I sit there and I look at Jalen Hurts learning in 2022 from Tom Brady in the offseason. 2023 and 2024, spending time with Michael Jordan and learning and soaking up knowledge. Greatness. If you want to be great, you surround yourself with greatness. That's what you do. You've got to surround yourself with greatness. I mean, that's what LeBron James has done, right? Surrounded himself with greatness, and that's why he's one of the best. Brady had prime AB in Tampa as well. Was he prime AB? I don't know. Is 18 touchdowns a good year enough? Who cares about 18 touchdowns? The team won the damn Super Bowl. And that's 18 passing touchdowns. How many rushing touchdowns did he have? How many touchdowns did Saquon Barkley have? Are we going to just ignore those numbers? Jalen Hurts could have thrown more touchdowns. Jalen Hurts could have thrown more yards. then Saquon Barkley is not rushing for 2,000 damn yards. Plain and simple. And when Saquon Barkley is rushing for 2,000 yards, you know what that also does? It lessens the amount of plays per game because you're running the football versus passing the ball. So, all right, give Saquon Barkley the ball 50 less times over the year. He rushes for 1,500 yards. Jalen Hurts now throws for 3,800 yards and maybe 22, 24 touchdowns. Okay. And you know what? Jalen Hurts has done that in 2022. Interesting that 30 of the second picks in this year's draft haven't signed yet as they want their contracts guaranteed. I wonder when the ball gets rolling and say, well, it's going to be close. Rick, and that I can't remember who it was. There was a guy that had his contract guaranteed. I think it was last year. Maybe it was the first one to sign this year. And that set this new precedent. Okay? That second-round picks want their contracts guaranteed. Okay? And the NFL is pushing back. And we've already seen in the NFL, there's that collusion case going on. And I'm kind of wondering if there's another collusion case going on with the owners and GMs against second-round picks. Now, I don't know if they should be guaranteed or not. I'm not making an opinion whether it's right or wrong that the second-round picks are holding out for fully guaranteed contracts. I'm just saying that there's something weird that all the second-round picks, other than 2, haven't signed. I think Howie Roseman gets Drew McCuba done later this week. I do. Nobody's talking about, what's up, Bull? RJ, how you doing? Nobody's talking about Henry rushing for 19,000, but Hurts gets penalized. Hurts gets hated on because people are jealous. People are not just jealous of his success. They're jealous that he's not giving them material to create drama with. Just goes about his business. When he did that ESPN article like 2 or 3 off seasons ago, like, oh man, Jalen Hurts doesn't even have fun. He's going to burn out. And I thought, no, that's just how he's wired. Jalen Hurts just cares about football, and that's it. And it's crazy. Guys, we're almost at the top of the hour. We've got 17 votes on our poll. Did you watch the Home Run Derby? We're going to get back into the Home Run Derby in a little bit. We'll talk a little Paul George again in a little bit, but if you haven't already, like, share, subscribe. We should be pushing 20 likes on this video at least. My guess is we're probably not there yet. And I'm still probably short a subscriber from yesterday. So like, share, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. Okay, let's give Barkley the trophy. What trophy? They will need to sign before training camp. I think Drew McCuba gets signed before camp starts next week. I do. I do. Hurts had 32 touchdowns last year. Oh, and a championship. Exactly. Definite collusion in the NFL. I mean, we've already seen a case come against the NFL on collusion, on guaranteed contracts. And now all of a sudden the second-round picks are all not signed at the same time. It's kind of weird. I thought once that collusion case, Rick, got released to the media and to the fans, that all of a sudden all the second-round picks would start signing to kind of make things right. But instead, it's kind of doubled down on. It's kind of crazy. I don't think the collusion case has gotten enough coverage at all. And supposedly, one of the only owners found to not be guilty in this collusion case was a.k.a. Jeffrey Lurie, the greatest owner in sports. It's kind of crazy. Jalen Hurts is on a yacht with Michael Jordan smoking cigars and placing 100,000 bets on who can hit a golf ball on the furthest yacht. Yeah, and you know what Jalen Hurts has, mister? He also has a notepad with him in every picture. Why? Because he's taking notes on what he's learning from the great. That's what he's doing. And you got to love that. Aaron Donald wins the Super Bowl for the Rams a few years back, and Stafford is praised all offseason. Hurts wins MVP and continues to get the goalpost moved on him. It's exactly. The goalpost is moved constantly for Jalen Hurts. Why he's not an elite quarterback is changed every day on Jalen Hurts. Poll? Pause? Yeah, right. Exactly, Mitchie Poo. Was I right, Mitchie Poo, that you were one, well, now maybe 2 people that voted that you watched Raw instead of the Derby? Also, a lot of Jalen Hurts passes get stopped at the 1-yard line. And what do you do on the 1 line? You tush push it, RJ. You tush push it. Exactly. You know what? It's what do you want your quarterback to be? And this is what I constantly ask. I want my quarterback to be a leader. I want my quarterback to lead men into battle, to victory. And that's what Jalen Hurts does. Nobody talks about, when they talk about Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, the offensive line, the defense, that's why they won the Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley got shut down in the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts tore apart the Chiefs with his arm, not his legs. Nobody talks about how great Jalen Hurts performed in the Super Bowl. I give credit to the Chiefs for saying, you know what, we're gonna let Hurts beat us. Well, guess what? Jalen Hurts did beat you, and he still can't get the respect he deserves. Hurts goes to work early and leaves late, goes home, eats, listens to music, then sleep. Yeah, it's eat, sleep, repeat, right? Based on what I'm seeing, Hurts should be ranked around 5 out of 30. Well, in my opinion, he's number 1. You want to put him at 5? You want to put Burrow, Allen, and Jackson ahead of him? At least I can understand your reasoning. I don't agree, but I understand it. All the Eagles got the trophy. That's because we say it with me. Super Bowl champions. Still feels damn good to say it too, Rick. I find it funny that the Eagles aren't anywhere near his bag of stinky crap. Yeah. I put him over her. Obviously, if you put Justin Herbert anywhere in your top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, you don't know football. Phil, did you see the Teddy Bridgewater? See, I saw a post on it that I couldn't find details on it. So Teddy Bridgewater was supposedly suspended from a place he was volunteering at because he paid for a bunch of stuff for the kids at the camp. Like, give me more details on this, Rick or Joe, because I saw it, but I couldn't find details on it. And what I did see, I thought it was asinine. Why would they suspend a guy? You can't suspend a volunteer. It's comical. Matthew Stafford and Goff, I mean, I'm not taking them to build my team. But Goff is an extremely disrespected quarterback in the NFL. I always say he got the short end of the stick with the Rams, taking them to a Super Bowl, then getting traded for Matthew Stafford. I mean, it worked out for them because Matthew Stanford, as you like to call him, Bills, did win them a Super Bowl. And Stafford has been to Super Bowls with multiple teams, but he's still Jalen Hurts is number 1 over them. Travis, what's up? Jalen 1 is like the weapon you won't see coming at you. Here comes the boom. Yeah, he's lowering the boom. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people would hang with Jordan and with pink. There ain't no pink baggies on that Jordan yacht. Let me tell you something. There ain't no pink baggies going on there. I can almost guarantee you that there ain't no pink baggies on the Jordan yacht and the Jordan field trip. I saw other pictures from the Jordan field trip. I think we're up to 15 likes. Still haven't gained any new subscribers today. There's a lot of guys on that Jordan trip. They were doing work. I saw them looking at designs or trying to put together designs, learning from. But you know what you see? You see Jalen Hurts' eyes attentive. He's like literally looking around in every picture. While everyone else seems to be goofing around, Jalen Hurts is taking notes. Jalen Hurts is learning. He's soaking in every little bit of it. Jalen Hurts isn't there with Jordan to have fun. Jalen Hurts is there with Jordan to learn, to be better, to not be a one-time Super Bowl champion. Teddy Bridgewater, from what I've read, is a decent guy. I wonder what he had to do with not being allowed to volunteer. He volunteered, and then he paid for some Ubers, some food, some equipment upgrades, and they suspended him for it. It's kind of insane. Teddy Bridgewater, man, he had that. People forget how he was a solid quarterback who had a bad leg injury. Can never get better. I think the NFL wants Howie Roseman to not do his job. I believe they want Jalen Hurts to have a Panthers-level team and win Super Bowls. You know how dumb that sounds? Exactly. And again, the reason why this list, has pissed me off, RJ, the most is because it's the executives that build these bad football teams that voted Jalen Hurts down this list to number 9. They're jealous that they didn't get him. The scouts are jealous that they didn't see this in him. The coaches are jealous because they can't develop a quarterback to be 1/10 of what Jalen Hurts is. That's the problem, RJ. These teams build franchises ass backwards. That's why you see teams drafting wide receivers and tight ends before you have a quarterback. They draft the quarterback, but don't give him an offensive line. Jordan don't do drugs. His drug of choice is cold hard. Yeah, Jordan is a big gambler. We know that. He's got to ask Kesh for a little floater loan every so often. Mahomes, tier 1, tier 2, Burrow, and Jane Daniels is not better. And Jalen Hurts is not on the same level as Goff and them. He's way above them. I'm just telling you. If anything, I'm putting Hurts on tier 1 with Mahomes. I bought my first pair of Jordan basketball sneakers for the 4th of July weekend. Well, congratulations. I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't get it. My newest pair of sneakers I bought about a week ago came from TJ Maxx for $19.99. It's probably why I got foot pains all the time. But I'm not a sneaker guy. I'm a New Balance guy because they're great. I'm an old man. I like comfortable shoes. Are you thinking that Teddy was an unofficial agent representative? I don't know. Is Teddy Bridgewater, does he work for any NFL teams right now? I don't understand the situation there. I don't. And I couldn't find enough information on why that situation went down. 2-glove Teddy Bridgewater, the Aaron Ryan golf. Good one. Good one. Save the golf commentary for Fairway to Heaven tonight, 6 p.m., guys. Steven, Jason, and I, along with Detroit, Drew, Dave, whatever we're calling them, will be joining us. We'll be breaking down the Open Championship from Royal Port Rush live tonight, 6 p.m., right here on the STT Sports Network. $19 sneakers, where it's at. Yeah. These are, I didn't even know that, like RXB or something like that was the brand name. Actually good. Actually pretty comfy, actually. When did the British Open become? It's always been just the Open to everyone outside of America. America used to call it the British Open. Then I think over the last 5 to 10 years, golf has kind of had a little bit of a boom and gotten a little bit more mainstream attention. And that's when people realized that it was always just the Open. I know 15 years ago I called it the British Open. And then enough people corrected me and told me it's just the Open. Jalen Hurts has his CCK in his hand and couldn't care less about what people think. Exactly. And Nooms, by the way, FYI, on a side note, welcome to the show. A little late today. I've been saving a note here for you. I can't even read my notes. 80%, 85% of the world working right now. The rest are here. I watched that Lee Elia rant from 83 because of you. He wants to stick it up the arse of people. Dude, how have I never heard the Lee Elia rant, Nooms? And thank you very much for telling me to look that up. That had to be one of the greatest things. I watched it this morning before going live. Probably why I was so fired up today on this show. That was one of the greatest videos I've ever. How is that not right there with the answers practice ran or the playoffs ran or all the great all-time great rants? How does no one talk about the Lee Elia 1983 rant? I have no idea. It's high school pride for NIL agent and stuff. Literally the only thing I can think of because I've never heard of him being a perv or anything. I don't know. It had to do with the stuff he donated or brought or paid for is why he got suspended. But how can you suspend somebody that's a you can't suspend volunteers. Notice the emphasis that tier 3 is way down. Hurts on possibly the most quarterback. I'm not even going to comment on it anymore. It doesn't matter. The roster. I can still call it. You can still call it whatever you want. You're just wrong. If I was into golf, I would definitely call it the British Open because we stopped letting the Brits tell us what to do 200 years ago. Man. It's okay for you, but I'm black and I get bullied by my peers for not wearing fresh sneakers at cookouts. Yeah, look, mister, I get it. I think I would be a sneakerhead if I wasn't so damn cheap. That's the thing with me. I'm cheap. I don't I see pictures of people's closets and they got 30, 40 pairs of, Jordans and other sneakers and boxes still like they're $200, $300, $400 a piece. I just can't do that. I mean, I know some people consider it an investment as well because those sneakers it's one of the few things clothing wise that you wear and they hold or gain value over time. It's crazy to me. I also always have to wear very good supportive shoes. So that's why I'm a New Balance guy because they're the best for my back. Being on my feet as much as I am in the restaurant business, I don't think Jordans would help my back too much. But yeah, I get it. But I don't get it, if that makes sense. We fought a war to call it the goddamn British Open. It's in Ireland, Northern Ireland this week. Does that still count? That's not British. That's Irish. So it should be called the Irish Open this year then, right? Hurts has literally seen the postseason every year as a starter. Exactly. You know what's funny? And I had this argument or discussion with a Washington Commanders person yesterday on Twitter. Because Jaden Daniels, after one season, winning the wild card and getting the playoffs and winning a few games is great. We didn't put Jalen Hurts on this pedestal after his first year as a starter. He got to the playoffs. Yeah, they got smoked in the playoffs. But he led a not elite roster in 2021 to the playoffs as a first-time starter. He said he's good. He's got potential. There were people in after 21 that still wanted to move on from Hurts. Okay? But the Commanders are allowed to put Daniels on a pedestal after 1 year. But after 4 years of success, we're not allowed to put Jalen Hurts on that pedestal. Kind of mad. Why don't you have any auxiliary generator for emergency to pump? What? The rant today. Just imagine that rant today. You could hear the South Philly coming out. The only thing missing was Strapper. Dude, it was I cannot believe I never heard that rant. You can stick it up their ass. 85% of the world's working. The other 15% are right here booing the team. It was so crazy. How have I never heard that? Northern Ireland is still part of the United Kingdom. But British is Britain, New England. Isn't England British? United Kingdom. Maybe then you call it the United Kingdom Open. The UK Open, okay? UK and British, to me, are different. Irish people aren't British, okay? There's a difference, okay? The UK, sure. So call it the UK Open then. The British Open has to happen in England. Will Hurts prove everyone wrong? This is all good content. He's already proven it wrong. Do your research. He's proven everybody wrong. Every doubter wrong. Do some research. You tried footwear from Adidas called Prime Knit and Boost. I don't think I've ever tried those two. I've had Adidas sneakers in the past. They tend to hurt my... Look, I own a restaurant. I've been in the restaurant business for 30 years. I need certain kinds of shoes just for my back, and Adidas have never been. Actually, surprisingly, on a cheaper end, Under Armour sneakers have been very solid. They just don't hold up to the wear and tear. If I buy a pair of Under Armour's sneakers, they tend to wear out within 3 or 4 months. I could get a good 8 months out of a pair of New Balances before they start to wear out. Adidas have always given me back issues when I wear them. I'm not sure if I've ever heard of Prime Knit or Boost or not, but yeah. Go back to Wales. Can we all agree that Skechers is that a trash can? I think that's a trash can, and yes, we can all agree on that. I know my father-in-law had a pair of Skechers. He absolutely loved them. Said they're the greatest thing in the world. They're like slip-ons. You got to get a pair for your back. I'm like, I'm good. I like my New Balances. He went out and bought me the pair anyway. I wore them. Within 2 days, I haven't worn. They've been sitting collecting dust in the back corner of my closet. They were terrible, awful shoes. What? Your carnival guy ticked? What? I don't even know. I don't even know what you're talking about. Sometimes. Get a pair of Air Monarchs. I don't know what Air Monarchs are. We're going to turn this into a sneaker show. Again, I don't know anything about sneakers to have this as a sneaker show. But anyway, guys, we're at the hour and 10-minute mark. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that share button, subscribe. We got 20 votes on the poll so far. I'm sure there's not 20 likes, which means someone's not liking this video. Did you watch the home run derby last night? Some of it, till I passed out. That was my answer. None of it. 30% of the people have voted that. 10% voted all of it. 15% voted. I watched Monday Night Raw instead. British Knights were crap. Sneakers back. Were they sold at Kmart or Clover? I had some British Knights back in the day. I'm writing that down. I got to look these up after the show. I had some of those British Knights back in the day. I did. I can't remember. We got them at the Clover on Baltimore Pike in Springfield. It's now Kohl's, I think, or at the local Kmart. Maybe I got them at Value City. Is Value City still around? I don't think Value Cities are still around. I know Clovers and Kmart's aren't around anymore. They were awful. I'm all happy we won the Super Bowl twice. I just wish we did it before the NFL turned into pro wrestling. Yeah. Was I a Z? I don't even know what that is off the top of my head. So probably not. Not sure what that was. Derek Coleman for British Knights commercials were so. I don't even remember Derek Coleman doing commercials. I remember Derek Coleman. I was a Derek Coleman guy, just because he was a fat, out of shape guy playing NBA basketball. I remember when we brought him back for his second run in Philly with Allen Iverson, and he was so washed at that point. The dude could shoot a little bit for a big man. He can grab a few rebounds. He just couldn't stay in shape. He was the Jordan Davis of the Sixers back then. I do not remember him doing commercials though for them. Not at all. But anyway, with the home run derby and the poll, I want to throw that back to the conversation. The likes and dislikes from it last night. And again, we haven't really talked too much about it. Are we shocked that Paul George is already hurt? Let's do it. Is that still a brand? I'm going to look it up after the show for sure. Pants, IOU sweaters, and Jakor Noor were all over high school in the 90s. So see, the difference was, at one point in my life, I was a smart kid, Rick. I didn't get dressed up for school. I had to wear a shirt, tie, and a sports coat every day to school because I went to private school. I was smart at one point. I'm smart. I know things. I had a sports coat or a sweater over my shirt and tie every single day to school. It sucked getting dressed up for school every day. But that was going to a preppy school. That's what you get. Coleman was still more useful than Matt Geiger. Matt Geiger was terrible. Matt Geiger was awful. Larry Brown knew how to fire him up. Yeah. Syracuse, what? I wear air walks. Don't know what they are. I did watch it. I told you I watched the poop documentary. It was terrible. It's the worst documentary Netflix ever did. Netflix has never made a bad documentary that was so poorly put together, so rushed, so much bad clips and stuff like that. The Poop Cruise doc was just terrible. But on the flip side of the equation, a little of it that was good, I know as a former crew member as a cruise ship, I would not have survived working on the ship. That stretch. That would have been very difficult for me to handle. And still trying to entertain people. Chess King, I kind of remember that. They could not sue because they signed a contract saying they do not guarantee safety. And it's true. A lot of people don't realize what's in your cruise contract. Dirk Coleman was the poster boy for overpaid, lazy, wasted talent, or what we call in the NBA in general. Yeah. Only thing that Geiger was good at was blocking Iverson from being traded. Yeah. Matt Geiger was bad. He was not good. Who's better, Matt Geiger or Todd McCullough? There, we'll throw that big man, that slow big man into the equation if you want. Todd McCullough had a better career as a what are the games in the arcade? The pinball games. He was like a professional pinball machine guy or champion or whatever after his NBA career. There's a lot of bad centers we had during that. And that's the thing. Allen Iverson is praised for not winning championships because he had bad teams. And Jalen Hurts is hated for winning championships because he's got good teams. Make it make sense. Todd McCullough had a great game in the NBA Finals. That's it. Did he have a great game in the NBA Finals? I don't know. All I do know, he was a pinball wizard. T-Mac wasn't too bad before the foot. The T-Mac, yeah. Air Monarchs are the ultimate dad shoes, are they? I'm not a dad, but I'm old enough to be a dad. Cruise ships are peachy. See, I disagree. Cruise ships are very clean, and they are cleaned crazy. The reason why they're a petri dish of germs and diseases is because idiots don't wash their hands after pooping. Plain and simple, Rick. You know how many times I've been on a cruise ship? I've seen people drop things on the floor, like a pair of tongs at the buffet, pick them up off the floor and put them back in the food for the next person. Cruise ships are clean more than anything else out there. It's the idiots that work on the cruise, or the idiots that go on the cruises, that make them the germs and diseases. I don't know if that's true or not. That's possibly not true. I'll defend the cruise industry as a former employee, that it gets a bad rap. Ozzy final concert, what do you think? What? He's doing still concerts? I don't know. Air Monarchs give the comfort to watch cable news and mow the lawn. Gotcha. Yeah, the poo cruise thing. That's a one-time thing. It's not like it happens all their own. Yeah, no, I get why people think they do. The problem is they don't understand what the real problem on the cruise ships are. The problems are the guests not taking care of themselves. And that's it. The entitled people. I got Montezuma's Revenge on a cruise ship. I don't even know what that is. I was a Cross Colors and Fat Farm guy. I don't remember Cross Colors. I remember Fat Farm now. I don't even remember what I was. I shopped at Clover as a kid. Whatever came out of Clover was what I wore. We had that conversation a while ago. Anyway, final 15 minutes. If you got final thoughts on Jalen Hurts, now's your time. If you got to get anything off your chest on Paul George, and again, all the nitwits out there, they were telling me that this year for the Sixers, it's going to be different. Guess what? It's not. And while we're talking the home run derby, tonight's the All-Star game. Will you watch the Midsummer Classic tonight? I will not be watching the Midsummer Classic. We'll bash it tomorrow, but I will not watch it. I'll read highlights about it, read about it and watch the highlights of it, but I'm not watching the Midsummer Classic tonight. No. I did find really good what? Yeah, I'm not surprised. The only time in my life I watched people do lines was on a cruise ship. I will definitely be watching the All-Star game tonight. Well, I'm glad you will. And I mean, I think with you having kids, younger kids, it's important that you continue to expose your children to the game, try to grow them. We talked about this yesterday, finding ways to get the next generation interested in the sport. I don't have kids. I think the Midsummer Classic's a joke. I think they do it wrong. But again, I'm not trying to grow the sport. Oh, okay. I got you. I won't be watching it tonight. I have no desire to watch an All-Star game in any sport anymore. Yeah, I kind of think the Pro Bowl is the biggest joke of them all, Rick. I think the NBA All-Star game would be the second biggest joke, with MLB third. I can't tell you the last time I watched an NHL All-Star game, so I don't know how much of that is good or not. But again, I think the Pro Bowl is a bigger joke than the NBA All-Star game. Rick found club. He found something all right. Best 25 pounds ever lost in a week. Oh my God. Hey, it happens. It can happen anywhere. Anyway, I can't believe nobody wants to laugh and make fun of and bash Paul George more on the situation with him getting hurt practicing or warming up or training for this upcoming season. It's kind of funny to me, the amount of people that told me I was wrong for bashing Daryl Morey, told me I was wrong for wanting to trade the farm this offseason and start over. And here we are. Still, what? 2.5 months till the Sixers season starts? And already, we don't know who's going to be playing for this team. Back in the 80s, they did lines in broad daylight on top. Yeah, they did. Paul George isn't worth the breath to make fun of. A bum. People were trying to say, well, it was just before last year's injuries, he played 74 games the year before that for the Clippers. Yeah, and it had been 5 years before that he played 60 games. Paul George is now 35, and he's already got more knee issues. Paul George is going to – I'll set the over-under. Hold on, how many games did George play last year? 41. He played 41 games last year. I'm going to set the over-under at 34.5 games for Paul George. Does he hit the over or the under? Right now, I'm leaning the under. I think we've hit the acceptance stage of the Sixers. Is that what it is? Do we accept their crap? I don't know if I'm in the acceptance stage. I think I'm in the anger stage with the Sixers. I'm angry at Josh Harris for allowing this team to spiral into this situation. I expect PG to get hurt every time he laces them up. Who plays more games in 2025-6? Paul George or Joel Embiid? They're going to suck ass either way. They are going to suck ass either way. When the big thing is whether we can keep Quentin Grimes, because that's what the season depends on. Quentin Grimes is a good player on a bad team. He ain't a good player on a good team. Yeah, I know what you meant. Cocaine, yeah. Around 91 he was, okay. Trade Paul to the Lakers for... Well, you can't now. He's hurt. I suggested this like 2 weeks ago. I know everybody laughed at me. Laughed at me when I suggested this. I got 100 on him playing plus 35. You got him playing more than 35 games. I don't know. That's close. Yeah, Rick James and Eddie Murphy wanted to party. And they did party all the time. And Paul George play 2 more than Embiid, so Paul George will play 35 and Embiid will play 33. Great. And we'll be the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference and be losers in the play-in series. And you know what will happen? This is what's going to happen with the Sixers. They're going to play just enough games to get us the 9th or 10th seed to get into the play-in round of the playoffs, right? And then what's going to happen is they're going to lose in the play-in round, but then they're going to tell us, well, look, we made progress from the year before. One more offseason and one more set of tweaks, and we'll be back into the second round of the playoffs. I need the Sixers to completely, utterly collapse. Because that's the only way change is going to happen with the Sixers is if the team collapses completely. If the Sixers start losing 20 games in a row. We were getting hyped on a draft pick who keeps spraining his, pretty much, sprained his pinky finger on his non-shooting hand and can't play. Can Joel play 69 games? No, he cannot. Maybe over the next 3 years combined. Eddie Murphy was on something when he wrote Boogie in Your Butt, was he? Yeah, he was on a lot of stuff. This is Maxie McCain's team now. It is, but it isn't, Rick. Because as long as you have Joel Embiid and Paul George, it's their team. It shouldn't be their team, but it is. I just did a mock trade moving Paul George, Counsell, and Grimes to Lakers for 5 young players. Do the deal. Except for the Lakers would say no. Nooms knows about Boogie and the... Oh, my goodness gracious. Wow, I almost said that out loud. That would have been a big mistake on my part. Guys, what's on tap the rest of this week? We'll probably talk All-Star Game a little bit tomorrow. We'll see what kind of Eagles news or threads I pull on for tomorrow. Whatever else comes across my line on Twitter this weekend or this week. Let's see. What did I tweet out yesterday? I thought there was something else I wanted to cover from my Twitter page yesterday. Let's see here. A lot of home run derby stuff yesterday and Paul George stuff. Oh, I wanted to cover the NBA. They released a new top 100 players of all time list. And I had 2 questions from this list. Allen Iverson is not listed in the top 20 NBA players of all time. And Kobe Bryant is listed as 11th on the list of all time behind Steph Curry, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan, and a couple others. So my question is Kobe Bryant a top 5 player all time, or at least top 10? And should Allen Iverson be included in the top 20? Well, I mean, there's only 5 minutes left in the show today. You guys could start commenting on that. But I'll try to remember to bring this up tomorrow. Allen Iverson, Kobe, top 20. Write that down in my notes. We'll cover that a little bit tomorrow. Josh Harris' team survives on passionate desperation. So we have 5 more minutes of the show today. Yeah. Does Mike Trout stay here in Philly after the weekend series? I hope not. I am not trading assets, Rick, for Mike Trout. Guys, we got to stop thinking about Mike Trout. Hey, he's not even a Phillies fan, okay? He's an Eagles fan, but he's not a Phillies fan. He's not really from Philly, okay? Mike Trout's older, got a huge contract, and injured more often than anybody already on the Phillies gets injured. We don't need an injured outfielder on this team. He doesn't even hit for the average he used to. Lightning round. Rapid fire questions, K1. Don't forget, guys, like, share, subscribe. Live 6 p.m. tonight. Live 6 p.m. tonight for Fairway to Heaven. If Angels eat the salary and we don't have to give up assets, would you take him? I mean, if you want him to be a platoon guy in the outfield, sure. If all I'm giving up is like my 90th prospect in my minor league system, sure. I don't have to pay for the salary, sure. But honestly, what difference is Mike Trout going to give you over Brandon Marsh? Not much. He can't even play center field anymore, Mike Trout. We've discussed that for a lot today. Would you trade Trout? Yeah, I would trade Trout for Kepler if they pick up the salary. Honestly, I would just cut Kepler. But Mike Trout isn't going to be the difference maker of us getting to that World Series or not, Rick. Paul George is 2 years older than Mike Trout, just for context. I've said this before, Nooms. Mike Trout, to me, is the greatest what-if player in sports, injury-wise. I think Mike Trout, if he would have stayed healthy, he could have gone down as the greatest baseball player of all time. He was a five-tool player, had it all, power, speed, defense, contact, had it all. Just couldn't stay healthy. Malik Neighbors, a great young wide receiver. We'll see how he does with an average quarterback this year. Fantasy planning, it depends on what you think about the quarterback situation with the Giants. Phillies need to get Rooker and Miller. Again, I prefer Clausen, or however you say his name, and Quan. But I would be very excited about getting Miller. And Rooker is Rooker. Again, we've had that conversation a few times. I had Dallas, and he killed me. A.J. Brown injuries killed me. Just really not into fantasy football like I used to be. I don't know why I can't get into fantasy football anymore. I prefer to stick to the fantasy golf instead. Much more up my alley. I used to do some fantasy football stuff, but not anymore. Mike Trout isn't the answer, but if you had him in our lineup versus the Angels and being the only star that could make him better, yeah, I don't know what Mike Trout would even be here in Philadelphia. I don't know if this is true. Not much has been made about this. And I brought it up twice on this show last week about this, and no one commented on it. Okay? Supposedly his girl posted a video saying that he hired a hitman, but no one's commented on it at all. If you're going what if, it doesn't get any more what if than Mickey Mantle and also Len Bias as well. There's a lot of great what ifs. I know. Putting Mike Trout up there, there's a lot of great old timers too that would fit into that category. We'll say, all right, the greatest what if in the modern era, last 25, 30 years. How about that? I will obviously take Kurtz as my quarterback one if that helps. Yeah, I mean, obviously you would. He's the best quarterback in football. All right, guys. Tomorrow, we'll get into these basketball conversations. And CJ, the former Eagles safety we traded to the Texans, what if Embiid stayed healthy? I don't think it's as big of a story, but yeah, I mean, did he want it enough? Did he have that winning drive like Jalen Hurts that it would have mattered? I don't know. I always say, what if Allen Iverson worked out one time? Not one time a week, like one time period in his career. In hoops, it's definitely Len Bias since he could defend Jordan and was a nemesis. Absolutely. 2 more minutes of value. I'm about to wrap this up, okay? Time to say goodbye. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Where does Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant belong in the all-time NBA players list? Mike Trout. We'll cover the Mike Trout, why he does not belong on the Phillies. Trout in left field. Turner, Trout, Harper, Schwarber, Casty is your lineup. And Trout then will get hurt 4 games into his time in Philly and miss 15 games and come back for 3, then miss 10 more. You can't force him to, though. That's the problem. Mike Trout's not the answer in the outfield for the Phillies. It's just not. I would rather Marsh in left field over Trout at this point. Quite frankly, you go find me a center fielder and put Marsh in left field, or put Marsh in center field and go find me a better left fielder than Trout. Trout's not the answer. If we had some TRT, what? Trout over Kepler. Well, obviously, anybody. Rick, I would take you over Max Kepler out there right now. Saying Trout over Kepler ain't anything shocking or anything. But I'm saying Trout can't be the answer. Quite frankly, the hype and love in this city for Mike Trout is so weird to me. Because Mike Trout is an Eagles fan, and the other big problem with Trout on the Phillies was he doesn't like to play on playoff teams because he likes to go to Eagles home games in October and November. Trout doesn't even want to be here because he wants to go to Eagles games. He likes playing for losers. But honestly, the love in this city for Mike Trout because he's an Eagles fan, it's comical to me. It really is. I'd put me and my bum-ass leg out in left field over Max Kepler. I'll miss just as many pitches as he misses. I can at least shag a fly ball. Literally, I take the entire core 12 over Max Kepler. So saying Trout over Kepler ain't any, rocket science thing. It is what it is. All right, guys, time to wrap this up. More All-Star break talk tomorrow. We'll talk a little about the Phillies as well. Second half expectations, key success, that kind of stuff. The NBA list, the what-if list, we'll cover a little bit tomorrow. More Eagles talk. I mean, there's a shot that's Rooker or Kwan, for sure. With double-digit home runs, Kepler would definitely get picked up by someone as a bench piece if he was willing to take that role. Probably. He's had a couple clutch home runs, too. The number of his home runs that have come in the 7th inning or later are actually a pretty high percentage. All right, guys, time to wrap it up. Time to go to work. Live back here 6 p.m. tonight for Fairway to Heaven for Open, not British Open, Open Championship talk with Steven, Jason, and Detroit Dave. Dude, Cody Clemens, man. Boy, did Dave Dombrowski miss that one. Anyway, got to wrap this up. Bring up Cody Clemens tomorrow. We'll continue talking about that tomorrow as well. In fact, I'll write down Cody Clemens' name in my list. Got a lot of things written down for tomorrow, so we'll be jam-packed. Anyway, guys, let's wrap it up. Like, share, subscribe, vote on the poll. 21 votes in today. 48% said they watched it, the All-Star game, or the Home Run Derby, till they passed out. That was the winning vote, guys. Have a great day, guys. Back here live, 6 p.m., Fairway to Heaven. Go Birds. Bubbles up.